Well, eNCA senior reporter Ayesha Ismail is finding out what's been done in the Western Cape, and she joins me this morning for more on this. Ayesha, very warm good morning to you, colleague. The big question being, of course, what exactly is business input in tackling the energy crisis? Is there anything they can do, of course, to help stop this energy crisis?
Well, the City of Cape Town, along with the Western Cape Provincial Government, have already put a number of projects and programs in place to mitigate the ongoing power cuts in this province and in the city. But I'm now joined by a senior analyst here at Green Cape, Argan Puran. You were telling me earlier about the projects that you are working on with the provincial government as well as the City of Cape Town. But of course, the question is whether big businesses are coming to the table to assist.
Yeah. And so they definitely are, and thanks for having us and having us speak. What we've seen is a huge increase in the embedded generation market size, which indicates that both private sector businesses, but also the finance sector, is responding to the need to essentially bring new kilowatt hours onto the grid. So where we are with load shedding is it's no longer just an issue of load balancing and when we have the power and when municipalities have the power. It's also more just a pure energy deficit issue. So anything that can be done to bring new kilowatt hours onto the grid is what is needed. And what we're seeing is that the embedded generation market has grown from around 2 gigawatts in size to anywhere over 3 gigawatts. And when you take into account that our energy deficit is between 4 and 8 gigawatts, there is a huge impact that the private sector is playing in that regard.
But businesses that we speak to almost on a daily basis, you know, they will tell you that they've just recovering from COVID-19 and the effects thereof. Some of them are still battling. Some of them had to close. Now they're having to invest in solar energy. It's expensive.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, the finance sector has really developed a number of options for businesses to procure energy that requires no capital investment from them. So, for example, we have what is called a power purchase agreement. The service provider will own the system, and you just pay for the energy that is provided at a reduced rate. One example of this, the recent example, is the Atlantis Foundry in Cape Town. That was a 14 megawatt size, so a really big plant, reducing their energy cost by 20%. And that is on a power purchase agreement. So they had no capital investment required. So there are a number of these mechanisms now in place that businesses should explore that allows them to procure and access solar energy and have an impact in the space.
Now, I know the City of Cape Town also introduced what they call a Power Heroes program. What does that entail and how does that help?
So the Power Heroes program is really innovative, and one of the ways that the City of Cape Town is leading the way. Essentially, it is a demand-side management, a large-scale demand-side management program where a number of aggregators get businesses to sign up with them, and then they are enabled to turn off power-intensive devices when the city communicates that it needs to take place. So that really provides the City of Cape Town with the flexibility to manage when load is on the grid, and hence they can reduce the burden of load shedding.
Now, you are a senior energy analyst. If I were to ask you, how soon can we expect these power cuts to end in South Africa, what would you say?
Yeah, so I definitely think that there's a lot of uncertainty around load shedding. There's a number of mechanisms taking place to bring on new generation at the business level, municipal level, national level. I don't think that load shedding is going to be an issue in South Africa past the next 3 years. So I think there's uncertainty in that, but I think this isn't going to be a long-term issue.
Thank you so much for your time, and that is Argan Puran, a senior energy analyst with Green Cape.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Ayesha Ismail, for bringing this to the fore. Definitely seeing businesses quite, taking a lead when it comes to conversations and adding pressure to where it needs to go, be it government in terms of ending load shedding. That's why that briefing by Minister of Electricity, Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, on the Energy Action Plan, quite important. Also in updating businesses in terms of where they stand with generation capacity. That's my colleague, eNCA senior reporter Ayesha Ismail in the Western Cape.